was done it anyway. If I was sick, I just went like cup on, you know, certain things. Like if I wanted to, you're supposed to ask permission to go on holidays, to go to the doctor, to basically live. You have to ask permission. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect. Well, it doesn't make sense.
Well,
Yes, it makes
that's
perfect
the
sense.
reality of it. Yeah.
No sense as a system, but. And how was being a ward of court? How did that stop you buying a house? What was the problem there?
When you're made a ward of court, you're not allowed to buy a house. You're deemed a lunatic. You're not allowed to buy a house. You're not allowed to have a passport. You're not allowed to bank a card. You're not allowed nothing at all. So I had all that. So my thing was, you're not getting it, it's mine. And they never once asked, because the way they looked on it is, I can answer back, and I did answer back.
And how did you? So you were made a ward of court. It stopped you buying a house. You want to buy a house,
Even though the money is there.
even though the money's there and the money's yours.
Yeah.
So how did you solve this problem? How did
We
you get
had
out
a
of it?
meeting with the, you're not supposed to have meetings with the ward of court system, but we did. My aunt and cousin were luckily got a meeting with the general solicitor at the time that was looking after my case, and there was a lot of messing around, but it was either I wanted to stay in wardship, but buy a house in wardship, because that way I'm protected from, you know, being a vulnerable person, which is fair enough, but they wouldn't agree to it. Was either take this road or take that road, so we decided to do it.
Do you mind if I just ask a tiny bit more about that bit, the thing you just said, which was you said you wanted to stay in
Because,
wardship?
like, God forbid, like, people take advantage of you once they hear that you own your own home. They think, oh, you have lots of money, so then they think, ding, ding, ding. You know, that's what I've been over the last few years.
And so had someone told you that if you stay in wardship, this can protect you? Well, how had you got the feeling that somehow being in wardship...
You're protected from, like if that went wrong, they're always there, but obviously it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you mind if I just ask Donna a question just about that one thing?
Yeah.
Because I think that's when, reading the draft of your chapter, because I've been your mentor, and it's been, I have to say, wonderful and extraordinary to see how this work has come on. It's been a huge privilege to see this. The thing which did strike me most was your statement, and you've said it again, that I, in a way, wanted to stay in wardship to be protected, but I wanted to be able to buy a house. And I was wondering, Donna, how you responded to that when you were thinking about it as a respondent.
Yeah, apologies for my voice in advance. I lost it there a few days ago. But this was one of the biggest issues for me as a respondent, because Article 12 and the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, that would contradict what Claire wanted. So Article 12 requires that we get rid of all substitute decision-making regimes, such as wardship, such as all guardianship regimes. And Claire, from her lived experience, she felt protected as a ward of court. So she felt that even though all of her rights were being denied, she felt that, you know, there was problems buying a pair of shoes, buying a mobile phone, basic contracts she was being denied the right to enter into. But she still felt that there was this level of protection, and she felt comfortable with that. So then if she was to buy her own home with the money that she had in the bank from her inheritance, that the ward of court's office would be there to protect her. Whereas if she wasn't a ward and if she was to initiate proceedings to leave wardship, there would be no protection for her. And it comes back to what we've spoken about a few times today, the right to make a mistake. And she was very much aware of the consequences of leaving wardship, and she knew that it was a serious decision, but she felt ultimately that that was what was necessary. So that's what we had to work with. But that was the most interesting thing for me as well, the fact that she was willing to compromise almost within the system and willing to come to some sort of an arrangement with them. And she tried to negotiate with them that, you know, if you let me even rent a house for a while, or if you were to allow me to buy a house where I'm from or amongst my family, near my family. But it was just, they would not negotiate whatsoever with her. So I found that particularly interesting.
Can I just ask you, Claire, so you're no longer, you've got out of wardship, and you've got your own house. Do you still feel vulnerable now? Do you?
No, like I have my aunt and my cousin there, and that's what it should have been done all along.
Yeah.
You know, I have my own home. Nobody can ever take it away unless I decide to move or do whatever. But I'd never do anything without speaking to them.
Yeah.
Like they're my backup.
Yeah, they're your support.
Oh yeah, geez, I'd be lost without them, you know.
if there's any one last thing, we'll definitely have questions for other things, but if there's anything else you want to particularly make sure you get across, now you've got the microphone, you've got the power.
The one obstacle I have at the moment, right, is I have an intellectual learning disability, right, and I'm basically a fully qualified SMA, so how, like, you're trying to better yourself, and the disability doesn't kind of allow it, so how do you go to an employer, by the way, I'm fully qualified to do the job, but yeah, I'm on the disability, that's where I'm caught at the minute.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's
That's where I'm, like, employers kind of go, oh, by the way, they're not going to turn around and discriminate against your disability if they turn you down. They can't do that, but indiscreetly they are.
Yeah.
That's the thing I have.
So this is your next challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Obstacle.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll actually move the microphone that way. So, and as I say, we will definitely be coming back to more general questions, but I just want to make sure everyone gets a chance to talk for themselves first. So, turning now to you, Dermot. I'll ask you, I don't think I really need to, as it were, press many buttons to get you going, but I'll...
You don't. Because you are the solicitor.
Yeah. Although I should say...
You are a solicitor, aren't you?
I'm a lawyer, so...
Yeah. And you know what I think of a solicitor? I told you that.
It's that you told me. I should say that when I first saw I met them before. The first time I saw him today, he said, "Right, I'm not talking unless you give me 150 euros." He's worked and all that.
My name is Dermot.
Yes.
My mother died in, say, 1981, I think she died. Right, so my sister and me were having ding-dongs in the house, and she was telling me to move in to residential. So we were having a bit of argy-bargy, as you do, and then my sister rang up my mother's solicitor, as you call them. In Ireland, when you have a disability, the solicitor goes and he goes, "Yeah, I definitely do." "Oh, hang on, your mother has a little legal thing about your mother's will." "I know nothing about it because I have to go and see someone." "Okay," my sister said. She came up to Dublin, I went to Dublin Castle to meet this legal girl with a kind of a wig on her.
So,
a black shoulder, and told me that I couldn't get the house under such an act. I wasn't too sure, and that I could sue my sister, my other sister. So I turned around and said,
just Dermot, make sure you keep the microphone up.
I turned around and said to her, I'm a person with a disability. I said, I don't understand the legal law. Explain that into me in the... She went, "You see, you can sue your sister, and then if you lose the case, you have to pay the fee." So I said, my sister and me said to my mother solicitor, "Oh, what's going to happen now?" "Oh, well, you see, I can't get involved in that. I'm only doing your mother's wishes." So then we said, "No, you can sort it all out and give us the bill." So I feel very angry about that, and there should be an ombudsman for people with disability, because you don't understand the law. Because when you have a disability, the law is very jaggedy duke, as I would say, because you have a disability, and I think solicitors are gangsters. And that's what I say. Thank you.
You go, Dermot. Just so I will get to questions in a minute, but just so I understand, what you're saying is that you want to make sure that there's an ombudsman in Ireland. Can you just hopefully, if you explain to people what do you think the ombudsman would do for someone in your position?
An ombudsman would help you know the law. He's independent from your service user, provider, your mother solicitor are unable to help you, that you understand the law.
Yep.
It's no good with a person, a girl coming out with you and you're shitting yourself in Dublin Castle, you know, and she comes out with a week and you don't understand. The
Yeah.
solicitor is talking to you like you're done, like that, oh yeah, I can't get bothered. But they know how to send you over there. So they send you a big bill.
So the biggest barrier for you has been the fact that people were not, there wasn't someone independent
No.
who could explain your rights in the
No,
position.
no. The government talk about rights and all this, but when you go to legal things, it's very bad in Ireland for people with disabilities.
Yeah.
The ministers can waffle on and talk a load of bunkum. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Dermot. Can I just turn the microphone to briefly just to Jan? Just as a respondent, what comes through very strongly for me is listening to this is the need for the ombudsman. I'd just be really interested to get your take from having spent longer with Dermot and thinking about the story, how you responded to that particular aspect.
Dermot is very clear in his position, and what I feel to be important. We were fighting. Where was the contract? Well,
yeah.
And there was an act of will, his mother's will, not a contract with one side, and but there was a very important decision with legal consequences. The decision whether to take the case to sue the sister or not.
Yep.
And it's perfectly clear that Dermot feels he wasn't given appropriate support in this situation. Situation very important for him, because having part of house or the money for part of the house for setting new independent life, that's real different. So this calling for ombudsman, maybe from my position more generally, is calling for affordable, accessible legal support in making important decision like this. That is the base for base for the response, because Dermot isn't willing to trying to fix the thing, to look where was the mistake. He's turning to future, what should be done, not this happened before, not this happen again.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dermot. Thank you so much, Jan. We'll come back to you in general questions, but can I turn now to Paul? So again, I don't think, Paul, I need to press many buttons to start you going, but I do need, I'll start with one question, which is, what did you want? What do you want?
The thing I wanted in life was to move out of institutions, because I was in institutions for 32 and a half years. I was, and then I wanted to buy my own place. It took me about a year to think of what I wanted to do with money. Because years ago in 2005, Mary Harney, that was in the health department, said to people in disability services and in independent living and in nursing homes that they would have to get back money from the government, what was taken off them for years in these services. That's why they used to take your disability allowance off you and you didn't know where it went to. And then after that, they used to give you a pittance out of it. And then after that, Mary Harney said in 2005 in July that people in these places would get back a little bit of sum of money. And then after that we got a bit of sum of money, just say 5 grand, and then after that it took 3 years for a place down in Tralee to sort out the money, and then 2008 we got checks back from the place down in Tralee, and then it could be from 20 up to about 80 grand, what we were owed back. And then I just said to myself that I still wanted to move out of these institutions, and then I went to a meeting with my boss, and then after that, when I went to a meeting with my boss, I heard from Genio, they're a crowd that work with possibilities, and Possibility Plus are brokers that help people to move out of these institutions and live a life of their own and choose their own support. And then it took me a year after meeting this person called Dr. Bob McCormick, from Possibilities. They told me that I can have a chat with Bob McCormick, just be beside me. And then he came over with a card, and then we started having meetings here with P-Mount and with families. But P-Mount didn't want me to leave the institutions. They were stopping me from leaving. So I said to myself, it's my choice if I want to leave or not. They have no authority for me to stay there if I'm not happy there. And then they gave me an option of going up to Saggart, up to another independent place to live and share with other people. I said I didn't want that. Then after that, they said to me that I have to go back to Aylmer Road, where I used to go there, because it was a residential place, where you learn how to cook and live your life, and then move out to the community then. And then when I went to Castle Lyons, I wasn't happy there. So they told me years ago that I had to go renting first, and then I said, no, I can't go renting, because all my wages would be gone. And then I wouldn't have no money for food or for my bills or for my holidays. And then after that I just thought of buying my own place. But it took 3 years for me to find the right place, and the people that helped me with this to search, and then at the right price, because we looked around, and then there was Possibilities and the anti-bullying group and Fiona and Jim and her PA. It took 3 years to find a place for me, and then eventually when we found this place, it was in a rowdy place, and then it was a bit dearer than the one I got eventually, and then I just said that I wouldn't take that place because it was upstairs, and then I didn't like climbing stairs. So I just said I wanted an underground floor. So we found this place then in another part of Navan, and then there was 3 people looking at this place after us, and then they were foreigners, and then they were supposed to have bought this place, and then they never came back for 6 weeks. So after the 6 weeks, we got a phone call from the auctioneers to say that the banks were looking for so much money, what they bidded, and just say they bidded 75. My limit was 73, and then my support person phoned me that day and then said this, Paul, that I put up your price. It was in March in 2015, and then at 3:30 I got a phone call from him to say I was a new proud owner of a new apartment. So we went, and then we saw the solicitors, and then they introduced me to the solicitors, and then I signed the contract for this apartment, and then I agreed to live in it, and then I paid for it out of my own pocket, and then I got a bit of money from the credit union. They gave me a loan for 7 years, but it's normally only 5 years, and then just say it's 15 grand for 5 years, you're only allowed to get from the credit union. They doubled that for me, because they know that I'll be paid back, because I got 2 loans before from them.
Thank you so much, Paul. We've deliberately put you last because you've managed to break through things. Can I just ask you the question, what was the most helpful thing for you? What was the most supportive thing for you in enabling you to buy your own house?
the most important thing, you know, was possibilities, talking to them, and then getting the question through them, yeah, really, and then sorting out the loan, yeah, from the credit union. And the other thing was, I got the choice, yeah, who I wanted to work with me, and then this person is working with me for about 2 years now, and then every year we have to renew his contract, because the HSE says that it's only a year's contract. So I employed him again for another year, and then he's 2 years with me. And then it took 3 years, yeah, for the organisation and for the HSE to get the money to make this move. And we pay him through my funds, yeah, with the HSE out of my funds. And then he has to work 8 hours a week and do 32 hours a month. And if I think that he's not doing a good job, really, at the end of the day, I'm his boss, and then I could tell possibilities that I'm not happy with him, and then I can employ someone else to help me. But I think that he is a great lad, that working with me, and then that he done an awful lot here for me, since I moved out to that apartment, and it's only a 1-bed apartment. And then I tell you this, when I was leaving Castlelyons, before I left Castlelyons, I was sorry, I didn't take pictures of the bedroom I was living in, because no one showed me in my life how to keep a bedroom tidy, and then how to get rid of rubbish, and then how to get rid of old clothes and that. And then if you walked into my room that time, you would see it was like a bomb. You would think a bomb hit it, because you couldn't even walk into it. Everything was thrown all over the place. And then they never learned me how to do that until I moved out to my own apartment, and then my new supporter Brian showed me how to do it, and then now I do it all myself.
Thank you so much. Can I just hand over to Michelle, please, just for one question? What's the single thing that you've taken away most from your experiences working with Paul on this story?
I think Paul's story is so inspiring and so powerful, and it's been such an immense privilege to get to know him over the last 18 months and support him in sharing, such a important story. I think maybe the most significant thing for me has been the amount of resilience it took from Paul to actually achieve what he has over such a long period of time, to be in the institution for 32 years and to be unhappy for all of that time, and to not give up hope on the dream of living independently in the community. And the fact that he found people that would champion, listen to his dreams and the vision that he had for his life, and support him to realise that. And I think there were so many barriers, so many environmental barriers and social barriers, the attitudes of the staff that just could not see that Paul would be capable of living independently. There were so many of those, but they were all ultimately overcome because of Paul's tenacity and resilience.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Absolutely. Within reason, Paul, we do want to ask questions.
Before we go any further, I want to say that I had to fight all my life, and then I never lived at home in my life, and then I was always in boarding schools, and then in institutions, and then in a nursing home, for my life. And then I had to fight for my life, to go out and then go on holidays on my own and spend my own money, because the staff in these institutions used to tell me where I can go and what to do with my money. And then what's wrong with them. And then the other thing, to get a job, a proper job, and then work outside. I had to go on telly and speak for people's rights to have a proper job and then proper money. Yeah, because you wouldn't work back in the early 80s for 10 shillings a day and get 50 pence a week in workshops.
Yeah.
But I didn't call them workshops, I used to call them sweatshops. Yeah, and then the other thing was that when I wanted to move out, people like families and then organisations wouldn't let me do it, but I had to fight to do what I wanted in life. It wasn't what they wanted to. And then they would have to remember that they wouldn't have jobs yet for only these clients living in these institutions and independent homes and keeping them in jobs at the end of the day. They would be employed there, yeah, for only those clients are staying there and keeping them in their jobs at the end of the day. They have to think of that at the end of the day, and then they have to do what the clients want to do. It's not what they want to do and what rules and regulations are. That's why it's their lives, and then they should be running them for them, and they should have their own privacy at the end of the day. Not go into their bedrooms without knocking or anything, and let them do whatever they want to in life. And the government should be told about that. That's why the government don't know what's happening in these institutions and these independent homes and in nursing homes. They have to go around and then investigate about it, and then they'll know then what's going on in these places. That's why Hendrick came out to inspect some of them, yeah, but there's nothing being done about them, but there might be one or two places closed. But I wrote a book in September this year, and then Minister McNamara launched it for me in Inclusion Ireland, and then it was about my life story, and it took 2 years to write it, and then a man called Stephen from Australia helped me to research everything and write the book, and then sold 100 copies within 3 days. I want more people like myself to follow my footsteps, get out of these institutions, live a life of their own and choose their own right support and get the right hours to support them, and get out to the community and mix with them what I do, and then to live a life of their own.
I feel completely wrong taking Paul's voice away from him, but I do just want to make sure that other people in the room, if they've got questions that they want to ask, please, now is the time.